Hello.
Hello.
How you guys doing today?
Pretty good.
Good. Hi, Davis.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Really good, really good. Just getting work out of the way.
Yay.
Yeah.
Wow. It's been a while since I talked to you. Have you been very busy with work?
Yeah, I just keep myself constantly busy. Just got way too many projects.
There's worse things, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Are you doing a lot of 2D, a lot of 3D, some of both?
Lately I've been doing mostly work in Unreal Engine. Don't know if you've heard of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Been doing a lot of work in Unreal Engine for military simulation
Okay.
and um, for other various projects. It's mostly 3D stuff.
Okay. Cool. That's fun. And I assume that stuff is sort of under wraps, so we can't see any of that, right?
I can ask, I suppose.
Yeah. No. No. It's okay. No. I was just making a statement that usually when you're working on something,
Uh,
we
usually
can't
I'm working
see it because of
on
NDAs and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
usually something classified.
Okay. So we have about 7 more minutes before the class officially starts. We've got some of the students in right now, and those of you who are in right now, this is Davis Engel. He's going to be our guest speaker today, and he is a 2D and a 3D artist who does a lot of work for the game industry. Um, so I don't know. We got a few minutes here. I don't know if you guys have any questions. You're welcome to ask, Davis, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Uh, Jazz, I know you're a 3D artist, right?
Fledgling.
A fledgling 3D artist. Okay. So, let's see, Jazz, you work in Blender, right?
Yeah,
I love that program. I think that's the coolest program ever.
it is
It,
amazing.
did you use Blender when you got started or?
Oh, for 3D art? I guess I first got exposed to it way back. Oh, geez, I don't even remember the name of the program anymore. Way back in high school is when I first got to exposed to it. And
Yeah.
for me, that's like 20 years now. So
Oh my gosh, it's been around that long?
not Blender, no, but 3D art, yes.
Oh, 3D art, 3D art. Okay. Yeah. What do you think of Blender?
Um, I think it's pretty amazing. The sorts of things that I can set up in it, having little. I mean, I did do a deep dive in it, but having little experience otherwise, um, is actually really astounding, and the ease with which it's done is pretty good. Um, I am still fledgling because I occasionally run into those moments where I have no idea what the hell the modifiers are doing. So I have to, occasionally go in and flip them on and off every now and then. But uh, just getting my feet wet in some cases, and others I've uh, tried to produce a little bit for the game that we're developing. But I think we're gonna have to go with stock footage overall.
Oh, okay. Okay. Um,
Very cool.
maybe maybe you can tell us a little bit about what programs you do like. What 3D programs do you like to work in?
Me?
I'm talking to you, Davis.
Yeah. I usually use Maya, but Blender is growing on me, and I think it's a great program. It basically does everything Maya does except for free, which is a huge difference.
Yeah, now do you have any issue with Maya's interface? I always thought Maya's interface was kind of counterintuitive in a way.
No, I believe that, well, it's the first software package that like major software package that I learned. So I expected it to be, really hard to get into. And so I didn't like face those problems, where I'm like, bang, bang, I hit my head on the wall, I was just like, I know this is going to happen. So, yeah, didn't experience that intuition, that non-intuition, but it is, I would say, at its core, one of the most unintuitive programs out there.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I'm actually taking the Maya class myself at Pima right now, and Yeah, it's insane. I mean, you spend more time trying to figure out where to go to do things than you do actually doing things, I think. But I
Yeah,
don't,
yeah, and the same can be said for 3D Studio Max, I think.
oh,
Both programs, I mean, I'd say 3D Studio Max is better, but it's still like a very unintuitive program. I mean, I think that Blender is probably like the most intuitive out of all of them.
yeah, yeah, I'd have to agree with that. Yeah, I love Blender. Like, without knowing really anything about 3D, I was able to download Blender and immediately start doing weird stuff. So, and the freeness of it is just, it wins, right? Um,
Yeah.
although Maya is free for students, isn't it?
Yes, they do have a student deal, and that's where they do succeed.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I mean, like Learning Edition, this is it's very essential, I would say, because getting it normally is like $1,600 a year.
Oh my God, really?
It's horrid.
Is that
I,
that's what you pay for the pro version?
I
Oh well,
uh,
let's say that's what you're supposed to pay for the pro version.
I'm going to say right now that I pirate
Oh,
it.
okay. Well, I
uh,
can't really blame you because 1,600 is a chunk of change.
it really is, and I do intend on moving to Blender so that we don't have to worry about any legal issues with my work in the future. But for now, I'm just like no, I'm going to keep my 1,600.
Okay. Now, there's another program you use, like there's Sculptress, and then there's sort of a professional version of that too, right?
Yeah, yeah, ZBrush. I highly recommend ZBrush because it is intuitive. It has a little bit of counterintuitiveness. Sculptress is naturally really, I mean, it's super simple, like it's the interface is like, 1, 2, 3, ZBrush is a little bit more complicated than that, but it like, it's really a jackknife for sculpture, for any kind of sculpture you can think of.
And Sculptress is free, right?
Yes, it is, and you can get it from Pixelogic's website.
Okay. And is ZBrush an expensive program to get as well?
No, actually, it's only like $600, maybe $500, somewhere in there.
And then that's just a one-time price. You don't have to upgrade every year or something?
Right. Yeah, yeah. You don't have to upgrade for a very long time because they only marginally improve it every release. You
Okay.
know, I mean, they do have a few clever things. Probably the most important thing they added on was the Dynamesh feature, which I'm going to be using in our demo.
Okay. And then now did you want to show us some of your 2D art first, maybe your portfolio or something before we get to the demo?
Sure. I will log in on my PC.
Yeah, so what you'll have to do is at the bottom of the Zoom interface, there's like a share screen button. Do you see that?
Just a second. I have to dial
Yeah.
in from.
Okay, go ahead.
I may have to disconnect momentarily.
Okay, well, I'll let you back in.
Okay, just a sec.
Okay, for those of you that just joined us, we have a guest speaker, Davis Engel, who is both a 2D and a 3D artist who works. He's a freelance artist, but he does work for the game industry. And he's currently reconnecting to this Zoom call with his PC so he can show us some of his 2D art. And then, of course, you'll be able to, talk to him and ask him questions and stuff. Okay. All right. So we got you back on there, Davis.
Yeah, yeah. It says it needs our meeting passcode,
Um,
which is bizarre because my phone didn't need it.
oh, well, can I send you, oh, let me send you the link. If you just use this link, you should get in just fine. Let me find the link real quick.
Okay, sec. I've got the link.
Okay. Oh, you have the link? Okay. Let's see. Game design. I'll get it and put it in here as well too. Okay. Join class via Zoom. And then I'll just put this in the chat. Okay. Oh, well, shoot. It didn't give me the link. It just gave me the damn. Okay, let me copy the
The
link.
whole tune. Okay, here we go. Let's try this again.
Okay. Okay, for those of you that are just, did you get in?
Yeah, I got in.
Okay, cool. So now you just have to click on the at the bottom. It says share screen, um, and then you can share your screen with us.
All right.
Okay.
Can you see my screen?
Uh,
It says I'm screen sharing. So
yeah, I see the Zoom client. I see the Zoom client open on your screen. So is that you?
that is me. Let me see. Let's go to my.
Okay, for those of you that are just joining us, we have a guest speaker today. His name is Davis Angle. He's a artist for the. He's a freelance artist. He works in 2D and 3D, and he does art for the game industry as well as other industries. So take it away, Davis.
Yeah. First, we should probably take a look at some stuff I did for the tabletop game industry. That's where I first got my feet wet in illustration. Anyways, let's see. I started with like the cream of the crop, Lord of the Rings, and made the Blackgate Moranon. This was my first piece ever for the game industry, tabletop game industry.
Nice.
And cool, thanks. Yeah, they provided me a simple art direction and a brief, and I mean, I didn't want to recreate the one from the movie, and
Right.
so I came up with something new. Well, did you have a question?
Oh, I was just wondering, how did they approach you?
They actually didn't approach me. I approached them.
Okay.
And it's a bit of a dance. You know, you have to show them your work, and then show them you have a good attitude, and
Right.
and that they can trust you, and from there, it's you have to put your best foot forward and show them your work.
Right.
Show them what you can do.
Nice.
For sure. Yeah. Fantasy Flight Games is the game company I was working for.
Cool.
I think the second series that I worked on was, if you can get back to my ArtStation. Okay, here we go. Was Game of Thrones, and here's an illustration I did called Tyrion's Chain. If you remember Tyrion from Game of Thrones, and that's King's Landing in the background there, and
Nice.
yeah,
So cool.
yeah, cool, thanks. And they have a massive chain going from one end to the other. I did the chain in Maya, so it's all 3D. Just the chain is all 3D. The rest is painted. It just makes things so much easier than painting all those little planes. As you can see, there's like all these little planes on it, lots of geometry, and I just didn't want to go through all that. I wanted to make the chain interesting, not just make it like a round, link kind of thing. I wanted to make these angular and menacing, and this will screw up your ship for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
I like so this is something I've been struggling with in Blender, is the coordination of lights between like your target image and what you're modeling. I think you did a really nice job of the lighting there for that.
Yeah. They in the instructions, they have like this green fire. I've totally forgotten what the green fire's significance was in the Game of Thrones, but I used it to my advantage. There's a boat fire that's orange, and it lights up the sail from one side, and then from the other, I use the green fire and the sea. I think it's these bombs or something. They have like bombs, and
Yeah, they
burned
blew
up
up
the ship.
they blew up a whole church with it.
Wow, yeah, that. And yeah, so it was very advantageous. Like I also used the moonlighting behind it to light up the sail. So I mean, basically, this is the most 3D object in the entire thing. You know, just lit up by 3 different lights. Um, if you're familiar with 3-point lighting, that this is not it. This is definitely not 3-point lighting. Don't. Yeah. It's, um, that is probably the most common lighting setup in most cards. Like these are cards for these games, and it's really important to know your 3-point lighting. You know, your ambient, your fill, and your key, and with that you can go far, really far in art. So know your 3-point lighting.
Cool.
Let's go back and let's see if I have any other ones from tabletop industry. Let's see, more Lord of the Rings. And this is off map, you know, this is Gondolin or somewhere near there. And that's like a totally different continent.
Was the Game of Thrones artwork also through Fantasy Flight?
Yeah, they're all Fantasy Flight.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Let's see, is that Southron? No, that's also Lord of the Rings. So I did a lot of Lord of the Rings stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the Southron camp. Very simple, but I like the lighting of the moon through the clouds.
It's cool.
Arendelle. Yeah, he's super proud looking. He's like,
Yeah.
But I like the lighting. You know, they wanted to have a portrait, so I made him a portrait.
Very elfy for that universe.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's look at some stuff that I did for myself. This is Osaka. If there was an Assassin's Creed set in Osaka,
Nice.
in feudal Japan.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Did somebody say Ghost of Tsushima?
And let's see. Here's probably the most high-res image I have got. It's 4K.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not going to come through the stream, but it is awesome.
But it looks amazing.
Yeah.
It's sort of
Thanks.
there's sort of a Maxfield Parrish influence on that.
Actually, mostly just like Lord of the Rings, but
Okay.
I would really like to write down the name of this artist because I don't know him. Parrish? Okay.
Maxfield
Maxfield
Parrish.
Yeah.
Not Parrish.
Yeah.
Parrish. Okay, I will look him up.
Okay.
Because I mean, if it looks like that, then it ought to be interesting. Assassin's Creed, if it were set in, you know, like the Taj Mahal and back in its time.
Nice.
Brotherhood was set there. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood was set there.
It was?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, I totally missed it. I should have done concept artwork for them. I thought Brotherhood was Constantinople.
Wait.
Revelations was Constantinople. Brotherhood was Rome.
Oh, yeah, my bad. I mixed
This
that
is
up.
in India. Okay, yeah.
Nice.
I was like, they did one in India? Holy crap.
Where was that?
Yeah, but I mean, it's another cool location and another
Yeah,
cool
seriously.
concept for Assassin's Creed, like something I would like to see in the future.
Right.
I'm a huge Assassin's Creed fan. I've played them
Same.
all.
Same.
Awesome. We have Assassin's Creed fans. in your class.
I really want to see. I want to see an Assassin's Creed set in World War II. That'd be awesome.
Dude. Yes.
Yeah, just some character art, sort of a Gundam thing.
Nice.
See if it's. I think that's as high res as it goes. It's actually, yeah, this is all hand painted, but I was able to pull off a realistic looking hard surface. I was really happy with that.
Nice.
Yeah, that looks awesome.
Thanks. There's another pilot for you. Although I think his hairdo is a little too simple. Like, it doesn't look real. Kind of thrown on there like Donald Trump or something. But otherwise, his costume looks nice. It's very Mass Effect-y.
Yeah, I was
I
thinking
like
that
it.
too.
And did a couple mechs.
Ooh.
Cool.
That's really nice.
Got little T-Rex arms.
You're really good with light, as Jazz said.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, like you just gotta calculate it. You know, it's not that sounds complicated, but it's not. You know, basically you just imagine a light source being at a certain location, and you figure out where the rays of the light hit. Based on its location. And let's see. Here's a good one for lighting.
Ooh.
This one's a silhouette lighting sort of thing, and there's a huge, strong rim light going on.
Indeed. I like the flavor of this one.
Thanks. Yeah, this was one of my earlier ones. One of my early digital paintings. It's based off of Marathon. If you ever played Marathon back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's one of Bungie's first. It was before Halo.
Oh, cool.
In fact, you can see the Marathon logo and the Halo logo.
Wait,
Oh,
what?
really?
Yeah. It's let's see, Marathon logo.
Oh, wow.
Or yeah, that's not it. Yeah, I know, right? Marathon logo.
I just did Bungie Marathon and it came up.
There it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
this symbol
nice.
right here. Like you can see it in the Halo logo.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
That is neat.
Let's see. Here it is. I think that's it. There it is, right in the middle.
Oh
Yep.
wow,
Yeah.
Cool.
Wow.
never noticed.
Yeah,
that
I do
before.
remember hearing about this one because this was developed for the Macintosh. That's so crazy.
Yeah. It's a Mac game. I
Yeah.
was raised on Macs. I know, boo, hiss all you want, but I mean, they were really good graphics machines back in the day, and I used to do all my work on it. Let me show you some of my.
Hey, Davis, one of the students, Jesse, asked, what do you draw most of these in?
I do them all in Photoshop. I should have said that earlier. I should have mentioned that earlier. I do all my work in Photoshop. 2D work anyway. Let's see. Here's a I did this on a Macintosh. This is Stratavision. If you ever heard of Stratavision,
I think so.
yeah. It's an archaic program, but it's the program that did the graphics for Myst.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, way back in the day, like '93.
Yeah.
Oh,
And same with this one too. This one's also
Oh,
done
that's cool.
in Stratavision. Thanks. And
wow.
I think this might have been the program that you used a long time ago. It was Bryce. Does that
Right.
ring a bell?
Yeah. Now, Davis, how long are we talking about to do like this illustration?
Oh, this one that we're looking at?
Yeah, like what's an average time frame it would take you to do something like this?
I believe this one it went through several drafts. before this place wasn't so green. It had kind of like fall trees, and they were orange, and there wasn't a butterfly, there wasn't any grass, so this was like it took 10 hours to do that, and probably another 5 to do this one here. My standard illustrations, I would say, take about 10 hours,
Okay.
8 to 10 hours, and that's a very good estimate, I would say. And this guy wasn't too different, even though he was 3D. Let's see, View. If you ever heard of Bryce, there's also View. That should replace Bryce in your toolbox. I think View is also outdated and archaic now, so. But it's a great freaking software.
Nice.
I think that's pretty much all I've got to show for now, other than the video game art. Should I get into that first, or should I wait until after the video game art?
You can show the video game art now if you want.
Okay, sure. So let's see. The most recent game I've been involved with was Zed, and this is Unreal Engine work. Like, this is a screenshot straight out of Unreal Engine. Aside from the background's Photoshop in this image, but everything here was rendered in Unreal Engine. It's a sort of Hayao Miyazaki-ish pumpkin house, and it was based on this watercolor drawing right here, which I basically drew on top of to capture it like perfectly spot on.
That's so cool.
Yeah, thanks. Normally, like I'd be like doing work, like doing robots and doing, medieval fantasy like Skyrim and stuff like that. But this is like this is my second foray into video game art. I worked at Sony Computer Entertainment back when it was Sony Computer Entertainment instead of Sony Interactive Entertainment. And I did work for their Dark Side property, which was eventually shelved and destroyed.
Oh, no.
Yeah. It was a cool project, I guess. I have my issues with the story, but I mean, it was a cool sci-fi project. It would have been cool if I could put some of that in my portfolio, but there isn't any of that to show. But it was cool working at the place that makes God of War.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was Sony Santa Monica.
Oh, that's so cool. So were you like going down to the studio to work on some stuff ever, or did you work?
It was a 5-minute daily commute because
Wow.
I mean, I lived like 5 minutes away from the studio in Santa Monica.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. They really cater to you. Like, they just have like sodas always in the fridge. There's
Nice.
snacks all the time, and they're surrounded by food courts. So
Very nice.
Yeah, it was very posh, very nice building, and the people there were really good. They were really nice. So, and unfortunately, they had this coastal layoff, going on. There was a trend. The whole game industry was laying off people, and I think it was the beginning of the horror stories that you hear in the game industry.
Okay, right.
Well, I was subject to one of those, and so they let me go, and that's when I went into a different industry, went into the tabletop games industry, doing work for Lord of the Rings.
Oh, nice. So your first kind of dive into the industry was through video games?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, and it was done much the same way. I went to a gaming convention and showed my work, and they said, "Hey, you'd fit here." And I mean, all you have to do is just be the right guy at the right time in the right
No,
place.
right. That's so cool. Just like even going to the convention and putting yourself out there in some capacity, they were able to see your work and kind of liked it enough to be like, hey, come over
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
There's usually somebody
Right.
who's free, you know,
Yeah.
and you know, you show your work to like 100 people, you know, one of
Yeah.
them is going to turn up. So anyways, this is my second foray into video game art, and this is Zed. At Eager Games, and the game was marginally successful. It was kind of it was an adventure game, you know, puzzler with a huge amount of story told. And the thing is, the whole thing is told in a dream. You know, like it's a dreamscape. So that's
Right.
why you're seeing weird, fantastical things like, you know, and whimsical things like this pumpkin house. Let's see. Here's a few more shots of it.
Oh, cool.
Here's the front entrance. Even though the watercolor art was the back side of the house, he wanted to make a grandiose front entrance rather than this wooden shack entrance down here at the bottom there. You can see there's like sort of a doorway there. That's
right.
Yeah, he felt like that wasn't grandiose enough for an entrance. So he drew the other side for me in like 5 minutes in Photoshop. It didn't look nearly as pretty as the watercolor one, but it got the point across, and I made something out of it, you know, with the veranda, if that's what you call it, the awning.
Right. Yes, the awning to the front. That's awesome.
Cool, thanks. And there's the back entrance, you know, goes into the kitchen, and the inside was, I'd say the whole pumpkin house like took a good 8 months to make.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It was a monster. It was a monster. It took like 4 months to 6 months to make the outside, because there's just so many little trinkets. Let's look at this. You see this image here? Like there's so many little trinkets. There's this lamp, there's this balcony, there's this cable, there's a clothesline, there's, you know, there's all these things in it, hose.
Just hanging off of it.
Yeah, and I created it all. Like I created like everything. Everything has an object. So the outside took long enough, and then we had to go into the inside, and that took another additional 2 or 3 months. And I mostly stuff I just bought off of Turbo Squid because I just didn't have the time to model it all.
Oh, right.
But you know, things like this hutch, or not a hutch, or what, bookshelf here. This bookshelf and this chair I modeled, and that couch I modeled. Little things like the little trinkets you see on the shelves are all like Turbo Squid and stuff.
Okay.
Did you have to deal much with the shaders for that carpet?
Yes, it was a thing.
Yeah, okay.
It uses something called a parallax occlusion map, because as you can see the individual threads coming off of the carpet, and it's not. It's 3D, you know, looking, rather than just a normal map, which will make it bumpy and stuff. I wanted to do something different and make the carpet raise off of, well, the carpet. And so I used something called a parallax occlusion map, which renders the pixels offset from the base. And it gives it the look of parallax between, you know, each threads of the carpet versus, you know, just a flat normal map. And I think it turned out really nice.
Nice. Blender, I want to try toying around with Blender's hair. I might be able to get a similar effect.
Oh yeah, I messed around with Blender's hair. It is excellent. It is so much more intuitive than Maya's hair. Oh my god. I'm just tired of Maya. I'll just give you that. I'm ready to move on, you know, and learn the rest of Blender's interface.
Excellent.
This is the kitchen.
Very cool.
Mostly modeled by me.
Nice.
You know, little things like the cheese and the cabinets and the fridge and everything else is turbo squid. Like I didn't want to make a microwave,
Right.
let alone a 50s microwave.
Oh yeah.
And, yeah, all these little things. Let's see. Master bedroom. This is the upper stairs.
Nice.
And yes, it has a bathroom.
Need a
And
bathroom.
here's the balcony view,
Whoa.
which is a combination of Tucson, Vegas, and Los Angeles.
Very
Excellent.
cool.
And it's mostly Vegas, I would say. You can actually see the Vegas Strip in the very back.
Nice.
Yeah, I figured why that was so bright.
Yeah, but it was super bright, and I think that it came out fairly decent. In game, however, what they did was they turned the sky blue, right? You know, like a blue night sky, which is, you know, there's nothing wrong with that, but they didn't tell me. So what it does is it fades from this brown here, you know, which is like, you know, natural nighttime orange,
Right.
and it turns to black, and then it turns to blue. So it has a banding in there that looks just so awful in game, and nobody told me about it, and it looks awful, and it's amazing the art director didn't catch it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like, where was the heads up? Turn in the
Yeah.
night sky blue.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. I missed the
Yeah.
memo. I mean, that's a huge change.
I bet you every player who playtested that saw it and said, "Oh, they'll just fix it later," and didn't report it.
Yeah. We did release patches, but they still didn't fix this. I kept on putting in a request and all, and
No.
I know. So it was the only blemish on an otherwise perfect pumpkin.
Yeah. I'd say. So that's so crazy. So, but like all of the inside, like the living room, upstairs bedroom, bathroom, and everything, that's all that stuff took you about 3 months just to do all the interior?
Yeah, 3 months.
Okay. Nice.
Mainly because it would have taken 4, but I went to Turbo Squid and got an alarm clock, a teddy bear, and a bunch of books,
Some
and
books,
you know,
yeah.
gramophone,
A microwave.
a nutcracker back there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And planes and pots, and you know, just kind of loaded up the shelves. Let's see, from this angle, I made a gargoyle up in the corner there, if you can see the gargoyle.
Cool.
Yeah, it's high res enough that you can see it.
Yeah.
And it has glowing eyes too. He has
neat.
Yeah, that's
Pretty
really
cool.
cool.
Like the detail.
Yeah, I put a lot of detail into it, and they didn't include it in the game. So I was like, why don't I just put it in the pumpkin house?
Yes, right?
Yeah. So way to reuse your assets. That's pretty much all I have to show on. Oh wait, I do have some experience in. Do any of you know of Myst and Riven, the sequel?
Yep.
Yeah, well, I did some work for them in the remake. They're doing a remake called Real Riven.
Whoa.
Yeah, and this is something I sculpted in ZBrush. That is a whale skull for something called a warp, because it's like halfway between a whale and a shark. I guess that's why they call it a warp.
A warp.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes sense.
And this is the head of a gallows, where people are tied up to this or shackled to this trapeze here, and they're slowly lowered down this tall cone. It's about 20 feet tall, into their deaths at the bottom, where a work will eat them.
Wow.
That's
It's
metal.
kind of a grim sculpture,
Yeah.
but it's a pretty one. I mean,
But
it
looks beautiful.
it's a very beautiful gallows.
Yeah.
Yes, a very beautiful icon of death.
Yes.
And the man who created it has an office, and this is his office. And he has a very ornate desk, a little overly ornate, if you ask me.
Yeah.
It's like more of a Parthenon than a freaking desk.
Then it's just a desk. I know.
And yeah, just his desk, you know. And he was a very opulent fellow.
Wait,
Once again,
excuse me for interrupting, but is this the mist that's going on the Oculus Quest, or am I just being dumb?
I actually did not know. I mean, I do know that they're. I mean, well, I'm not sure what Cyan's been up to. Was there news out?
There was just a trailer revealed 3 hours ago for Mist on in VR.
I wonder if it's if it's just a re-release or if they remade it or something. Did it look brand new? Did it look spruced up and all that?
Yeah, it looks all spruced up.
Wow, hey. Like Unreal Engine quality?
I think so. There's really no gameplay. It's just like the announcement trailer.
That's really cool. I'll check it out after all this.
I just got curious. Like, wait a minute, is this the Mist I'm seeing right now on the?
Yeah. Well, this is the sequel to it.
Oh, okay. Then
Driven, the sequel to Mist. That's literally its name.
With a Y, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That
yeah.
is correct.
The same Mist.
So yeah, that's really cool. They're releasing that. That's thanks for the bit of news there.
Okay.
See, so that's pretty much all I have to show for video game art.
Okay, so I think what we're going to do is move on to the demo, and what I'm going to do is I'm temporarily going to share my screen, so maybe you can give me my screen back real quick. I think you can stop the share down at the bottom or something. Okay, so yeah, let me share my screen. Okay, so guys, we are going to, Davis is going to be kind enough to do a demo for us of, one of the programs he talked about was ZBrush, and which has there's sort of a free version called Sculptress, which you guys can download and play with, and then you can pay for ZBrush if you want to upgrade. But he's going to take a piece of game art that I worked on with one of my partners, and he's going to create it in ZBrush into a 3D objects. But the fun part is you guys get to decide which piece of art he's going to work on. So what it is it's I'm going to click on this link here, and what he's going to be making is a little like cartoon monkey, which would be like a little 3D sort of player token that would be in a board game. And so we have 6 different monkeys to choose from, and you guys get to vote and decide which monkey you want him to make. So let me go through all of them here. So we got this first one, which is Brock. It's kind of the military, big boned but big heart too monkey. We have Jogo, who's just kind of like a middle of the road, very stable monkey guy. Lucky, who's his skill is lock picking. He's just a really easy to get along with, laid back fellow. We've got Minnie, who's a little monkey thief that can get in all these really small places like vents and stuff. Nira, who's sort of the Matahari kind of monkey. She's good with software and deception. And then we've got Sam. This is Sam's a female monkey who's really good with security systems. So let's see. So those are the 6 monkeys: Brock, Jogo, Lucky, Minnie, Nira, and Sam. So you guys get to pick which one you think you want to see, and then Davis is actually going to sculpt it in ZBrush. So what do you think? Maybe give me some feedback in the chat here. Let me see what the chat says. So Coulter likes, okay, we got a couple votes for Brock and then Minnie. So I'm just going to look, type something into the chat, and whoever's name comes up the most, we're gonna go with them. Okay, we got 4 votes for Brock, 5, 6. We got at least 3 for Minnie. More Brocks. Big boy Brock. Brock. Okay,
Everybody wants Brock.
yeah, it's definitely trending Brock. So What do you think, Davis? Does that work for you?
Perfect.
Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop my share, and then you can share again if you want, Davis.
Okay, sure. Let's share screen here. Share, and we shall open up ZBrush here.
Now, did you download a picture of Brock, or do you need me to email you one or something?
I think you're gonna have to email me one.
Okay, yeah. So you go ahead and get ZBrush all started up, and I'm going to email it to you. Okay.
Sounds good. Document initialize, new document. There we go. Now we have a whole screen. Although we're gonna have to reduce it so we can have room for the reference.
Okay, I'm going to do a little screenshot of it and then crop it in Photoshop for you and send it. So just give me a second here. Stop screenshot. Where are you? S for screen. This one here. Okay. All right, and then I'll just crop that down. Okay. Okay. Save that as a. I'll export it as a ping. Desktop. We'll just call it Brock. Ping. Save. Okay. Now I'm going to email that to you. Let's see. Okay, so inbox, compose to Davis, and then attach Brock, and he is right here. And then I'll just put the subject matter will be Brock. Okay. Okay, I just sent it, Davis, so you should get that in your inbox.
It's gonna take a moment.
Yeah.
And it's Brock.
Yeah, Brock.
Everybody likes Brock.
Big boy.
Yeah. Looks like a swell guy.
Yeah, he's somebody you don't want to get on the bad side of, right?
Yeah. I just want him to be my friend.
I want anybody to be my friend.
I think he also had the
what?
most interesting clothes there, so it'd be interesting to see that come up.
Brock is going to be voiced by Patrick Warburton.
Yeah.
All right. So what I like to do is, like, this is like my main workflow. I start from a sphere. And let's get out the move tool. And what I do is I take that sphere and I push and pull it. We got to, turn it into Polymesh 3D. Sorry about that. Give me a sec. I need to move this over here. Make Polymesh 3D. Got it. Okay. And for this, we're going to want to turn symmetry on. So that is under tools. And if that can get out of the way, that'd be nice. Just a second here. It's been a bit since I've used ZBrush. Stroke. Stroke. See if I can't transform. Activates, it's under transform. No wonder I couldn't see it. Like it limits the amount of menus it has on the screen. Okay, now we can see the reference and everything. Here. Okay, so symmetry is activated. So I just turned on symmetry, and then whatever I do to one side will be reflected on the other. So it'll be perfectly shaped as I
Nice.
move through it. So what I like to do is I like to start with the torso. Most people start with the head because, you know, the head has all the features and it's, I don't know, the coolest part. But for me, the torso has the most mass out of all the elements of the body. So I'm just going to get his rough shape in there and then build off of pull, like push and pull all of the legs and arms and digits and all that. Smooth it out, just pushing it. It's like a lump of clay. And he looks like he's standing up pretty upright, you know, so maybe
Great
a little bit
posture.
of, yeah, very straight posture for sure. Let's make that smaller and pull this out because he does have a small waist, but maybe not that small. Okay. Now, what I do is after I've pushed and pulled the sphere and all the geometry is stretched out, they're like, what are we going to do when we have to pull out the arms and the legs? You know, like, you notice how that geometry is getting all stretched out and bent out of shape?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's an amazing feature in ZBrush, and it is called Dynamesh. And what that does is it, through a calculation of the marching cubes voxels, it will calculate the new geometry based on what volume is taken up. So let's Dynamesh that, and now has new geometry. And as you can see, it's less stretched out.
Very nice.
So let's, if we want to pose them exactly like the picture, let me see if I can't get that. There we go. Good use of our real estate. Okay. We're going to want to do a few tries. Okay, that's about where he's at. And I'm going to Dynamesh that again because I've stretched that out so much.
Looks like a chicken right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brock! It's Brock. Brock! There
Beware
we
of
go.
that chicken.
Yeah, let's add a couple of drumsticks there. Guess I don't know my chicken anatomy. Who would have thought it?
Yeah.
Can I just point out this looks like a really beefy Patrick at this point?
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Who you calling Pinhead?
Now, Davis, how long did it take you to get to the level where you could, work this quickly in ZBrush?
Let's see. I use ZBrush for almost as long as I've used Maya. So that was like 2006. So, I mean, I've been using it for many years, but I'd say that ZBrush it took me only 2 weeks to learn.
Wow.
2 weeks. Yeah,
Nice.
and the extra Dynamesh feature only made things faster, so that only took like a day to figure out the Dynamesh feature. I mean, really all you need to do is just set your resolution down here. You click on the Dynamesh button, and there it goes. And let's pull these back here. Yeah, he's a kind of a pinhead or a robot. Let's see. He looks like he's there. That's better.
Now,
And look,
oh, go
yeah,
ahead.
I wasn't going to say anything.
Are you going to make the character and then put the clothes on him, or how are you going to do that?
I'm going to model the clothes right off of him.
Okay.
And I also use another brush called, instead of the move brush, I use blob. And I use this to inflate these really small, like, you know, compressed areas that get stretched out. Notice how it's like giving them volume.
Yeah.
You know what I like about this program, as opposed to that Maya interface where you always have to switch views, you can just turn this guy around.
Yeah, it's very fast, very fluid workflow. I'm really liking it. Let's see. So. We just have to have something there, even if he's got duck feet. He's big, but not that big. Like, he's not barrel chested. He's got a thin waist. He's ripped.
He's Brock, man. Jeff.
Yeah, he's Brock.
Brock skipped leg day.
All right, now let's do something for his head because he doesn't have anything yet. Okay, that looks good. Let's give him ears. Notice I'm making the brush bigger and smaller. Like, you just use the bracket keys and it makes things so fast. You know,
Cool.
just push and pull and get everything in the right spot. I'd say that the real training is not in ZBrush. The real training comes from your knowledge of anatomy and proportions. And I'd say that of those two, I'd say that even more important than anatomy is proportions. If you can get things like looking right, like size-wise, one object to another or one area to another, then the image will look right regardless of not having like the perfect muscles and stuff. Although those are needed. They're needed. Your anatomy is needed. But, I mean, I wouldn't, put that one down too much. But definitely, like, the how big one shape is next to another is probably the most important. Let's see if we can't make some fists out of that. And now we're going to Dynamesh it one more time. Well, we're going to Dynamesh like throughout like countless times. So you can do it whenever you want, really.
Right.
So here's where the sculpture begins. Like this is, I was just pushing and pulling clay, but now we can, let me choose a gentler brush because that's like really insane. Intensity should be like 10. Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's give him those big pectorals. Give him the 6-pack.
Nice.
Yeah, he's gonna need that. 6-pack to go with your pecs. Give
So
him some deltoids.
have you studied much anatomy, Davis?
Yeah, a lot of anatomy.
Okay.
Like it really helps. I don't want to go all out with the anatomy on this one because as Nira turned out, like I ended up using too much anatomy on her, and she ended up looking a little too realistic.
Right.
Less like a cartoon. But we do want to have a little bit of anatomy in there. Whoop. Hope that didn't cause it. Okay, all right. We're gonna have to use the loader, the blob tool.
Yeah, I have similar struggles in Blender when I'm trying to use it to sculpt, occasionally produce artifacts.
Yeah, it's a very unwanted artifact. So Blender does the same thing with the punching the holes.
Yeah, it juggles the vertices and faces, and it says, "Okay, you don't want anything here," and just punches the last vertice out, and you're like, "Oh, oops." The last thing I sculpted, I actually had to correct manually with manual geo definition because I could not fix it with sculpting no matter what.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds like a chore.
Yeah, it was my only like pain point when in using Blender so far is the sculpting. But I mean, that's if you look on the forums, that's kind of a known quantity. It's currently in development to get reworked.
And his arm looks so broken. Let's fix that.
So Davis, when people are making 3D artwork like characters for video games and stuff, do they ever use programs like this?
Oh yeah, ZBrush is like the premier program for like all sculpture. Like
Wow.
it's the one program that everybody defaults to, just like Photoshop is for doing concept art. ZBrush is like does all your sculpting needs. Really has a monopoly on the market. It really does. There are alternatives, but there are a few, and I don't know any. That's how little known they are.
Right.
See, let's smooth that out again, and I'll carve it in again. Let's see. I didn't put any thought into the jacket, so let's do that real quick. Let's Dynamesh that because it's all stretched out. Oop, I'm gonna do that. Just putting in lumps of clay and smoothing them over.
So have you ever worked with clay?
I use something called Super Sculpey,
Uh-huh.
and it's like working with like a plastic. or something, or I don't know what you would call it, but it's it's very malleable, and it's soft, and very easy to smooth. I love it. I just go to Michael's and get me a block of Super Sculpey, and I'm happy.
Oh, nice.
So do you do sculpture in real life then?
Yeah, I have a couple of sculptures. Right now I have like an unfinished Mario sculpture that I was working on like a few years back, and I intend on finishing it sometime, but I suppose I could show you my progress with it. My other finished pieces aren't here at the moment. Let's see. Does that look like an acceptable jacket? I guess for this guy, it kind of is. Needs a sharper edge on the bottom. Yeah. Looks pretty good. Let's see if we can get some facial detail.
Right now, it looks like an ancient artifact,
Yeah. It's very simple and, like almost like it was whittled or something.
Right.
Gonna have a big brow ridge because he's a big guy.
Yeah. Comes with the territory.
Yeah. It's a little wide. So I'm just gonna get the move tool.
Oh,
like
cool.
that. Yeah, move tool is super useful. It's the pusher and puller.
Nice.
It's kind of amazing to see this thing just being created in front of our eyes, isn't it?
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
It's like watching a YouTube tutorial.
Yeah, exactly. Except in real life, right?
Yep.
Any of you guys interested in doing work like this, 3D work?
I am.
Yeah.
So, Jazz, you think that you might want to build like 3D models for games and things like that, or?
Well, I'm going to for the one I'm developing right now.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Absolutely.
I just finished a humanoid. Of course, my proportions still need a lot of work.
Cool.
Yeah, proportions are the hardest, but if you get that down, then everything else follows.
It's like the same thing with like drawing in a sense, because like you're talking about proportions, like making sure each side is like the same as the other, like symmetrical in a sense. That's how I always do my drawings.
Symmetry?
Yeah.
He doesn't have that. He doesn't have a square jaw. It does have a bigger upper lip area though. Let's see. Let's increase the resolution on our Dynamesh. I can't believe we're already there, but we are. Let's increase it to 256. It's the next step up. I like doing everything like, you know, I do my pixels, you know, 128, 256, 512, 1024,
Nice.
Ours a 2 for the win.
Yep, exactly. And it works in 3D as much as it does in 2D.
So one of the students has a question, Davis. He's asking if you're using a tablet.
Yes, I am using a tablet right now.
Okay. Is it like an Intuos tablet or a Cintiq type of tablet?
It's an Intuos, although the Cintiq is better.
Okay.
I have a Cintiq. It's really nice. Oh, I have a Mobile Studio Pro, which is basically a mobile Cintiq.
Okay.
Whoa.
That's a little too realistic. I want to have a, you know, I want to have a little bit of fun with the, you know, don't want to make them too realistic.
So Jesse, you said he looks like he's from Earthbound. What I'm not familiar with Earthbound. Is it a video game?
It's a video game. It was released on the Super NES a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was like, wow,
Yeah.
no, can't believe somebody here knows Earthbound.
Oh, I know Earthbound. But people might know the reference Stardew Valley better. Well, actually,
Oh,
no, that's
right.
a completely different game. But it's just what I thought of initially. My bad.
Is Stardew Valley like a similar like style?
Actually, I take that back. It's not Stardew Valley. I was thinking of Harvest Moon.
Harvest Moon. Okay,
Yeah.
there you go.
So the for Earthbound, what would be the I don't know. What would be the modern analog? Because in all honesty, I heard about Earthbound, but I didn't play it. So
Give me a
Yes.
sec.
Jesse said he reminded me of Starman at first. I'm not familiar with the Starman character.
From Mega Man? There's a Starman and Mega
I think
Man.
I think he's still talking about
Earthbound.
Earthbound. Yeah.
Yeah.
Earthbound, okay. Earthbound.
I'm pretty sure you can get the ROM anywhere.
Just looking it up real quick. Yeah, it does sort of look like Earthbound, doesn't it?
So Sam said Earthbound is JRPG.
Yeah, it's a
You're right.
Japanese
Yeah.
role-playing game.
Oh.
Yeah, it's which are insanely long, but they're great stories usually.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm using something called the Crease tool, and you can download that off of ZBrush's website. It's very powerful. What it does is it creases, and notice how I'm just like sinking like a knife blade into it, and it's just kind of making a good right angle into the ear.
Huh.
See, there we go. Look at that.
Nice.
Blender just has a positive and negative for most of its tools, and it kind of looks like the crease if you put the resolution small enough, but I haven't seen something that is particularly that useful, especially with a brush that large.
Yeah, it's extremely useful. Yeah, it'd be cool if Blender had an equivalent. You might be able to find some like plugins or something on the internet for that. So he looks friendly but tough. That's what I'm going for.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's Brock for you.
because
It's
he's got
funny.
a friendly look on his face.
It's funny because he's creating a whole personality from just one drawing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
You know what they say about words. If a picture's worth 1,000, you might as well describe a personality with them.
There you go.
For sure.
He kind of looks like an ape statue that would be on Planet of the Apes or something,
Yeah.
like the great statesman Brock or something.
It's feeling a little tough for his hair. For this, I'm gonna have to turn off symmetry. Let me see. Activate symmetry. Not that big. He's got a horn on his head at that size. And I think I went a little too realistic with my monkey, but it's looking okay. It's looking okay. I should probably turn symmetry back on for that. Okay.
Now, is it easier for you to take a realistic monkey and make him cartoony as opposed to the other way around?
The other way around, starting from cartoony and making it realistic.
Yeah,
For me, I think that it's much easier making stuff realistic because I know details. Making stuff simplified is that's hard for me because I'm just commonly in that headspace. You know, realism has a certain headspace.
right. You're trying to actually achieve um, realism, whereas cartoony, you can just be kind of abstract in a way, right?
Yeah, yeah. You have to pull yourself out of it to really, you know, figure out what abstraction is. You know, you have to, because like right here, I probably have some elements in here that aren't in the drawing. Let's see, he does have a cheekbone, but I think it's the jaw shape that's throwing me off here. Like he's got something more like this going on with the chin. You know, it's not like a square jaw, which is what I ended up with, even though I avoided it.
Now, if you end up creating something really realistic, uh, are there ways to make it more cartoony, like just big eyes or things that you can do to make it more cartoony?
Yeah, yeah, there are some things you can do. Um, the eyes, making them big is one of them, and making sure that they're not you know, like realistic eyes,
Right,
like rhombus shaped. You know, like I tend to go with rhombus shape because it's realistic.
right,
But what you want is like oval or circle eyes, which are just like simple.
right.
Like
Like the way that manga characters look unrealistic but very cartoony because they have those huge eyes, right?
right on, right on. There we go. That simplified things a little bit.
Yep.
Is this program as fun to use as it looks?
Absolutely, it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's a jackknife for sculpting. You know, like you have all your sculpting tools here. You know, I only use like 3 or 4 of these, but they have a lot of fun ones like slash. Let's see if we can find slash 3. Is that slash 3? Okay, and that literally just like slashes your model. Let's see, slash. Let's get another slash. Discover a better one than that. It says slash 3. Spiral, standard, stitch. They got like a stitch brush, which you can lay out stitches and stuff like that. Like, yeah, I know, right?
That's cool.
Let me put that on his jacket there.
At this point, it's mostly detailing. So if you wanted to get on with the rest of your class while I detail,
Okay.
I mean, I
Yeah,
think
that
everybody's
sounds
seen
great.
like the
So,
major.
so what we'll do is we'll cut away from you. We'll do some class stuff, and then the class ends at 5. So how about we come back right before then?
Sounds great.
Okay.
I'll have something much better looking by then.
Okay. So so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let's see. Let's see. And of course, you'll still be in the class and everything, but we'll just have you share your screen at the end. Um, okay. So let's see. So we have a couple of people who had presentations that were on the schedule. Did any of you guys get a presentation together?
Yeah, I got mine put together.
Okay.
Yeah, I got mine too.
Okay, perfect. So let's see. Let me go to the class here. So we've got Isai and Britt. So one of you guys want to go first? Isai, do you want to go first?
I presented last class.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have you down again. I apologize. So we've
Not
got Britt, and I probably put the wrong name down. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I had,
Eduardo.
I had Eduardo. So did you finish yours, Eduardo?
Yeah, I finished mine.
Okay, so do you want to go first, or Britt, do you want to go first?
I can go
Just
first.
go first so I can just.
Okay, so Britt, you're going to go first. So you can, what I'll do is I'll stop my share, and you can share your screen and go ahead and do your presentation. Then we'll do Eduardo.
All right. So I chose kind of a weird topic, I guess. It's not necessarily about game design, but I chose to do my presentation on gaming on YouTube and the impact that it has on those games. So a quick history of gaming on YouTube is Blame Truth you is basically credited as being the first YouTuber to post a gaming video on YouTube where he commented over Call of Duty games in 2008. Between 2008 and 2012, Call of Duty was really big, and so a lot of those videos got uploaded to YouTube, and a lot of people followed it in the footsteps of Blame Truth. In 2012, though, the number of people just watching gaming videos in general doubled what had been seen in 2011. And just for a little perspective, in 2019, Minecraft had 100.2 billion views amongst all of their videos. Fortnite had 60.9 billion. I think that they said the Grand Theft Auto had like 40 billion, and there's plenty of other games that got tons of views too. So just today in quarantine, they've noticed a lot of numbers have jumped up, like the search interest in online games to play with friends. That went up by 20 times the amount that was previously searched. And that was like between March and April. Best online games it doubled every year, basically. And YouTube search interest has doubled every year too, since 2012. So how does this impact the games? So YouTube, back in 2013, did a little study. They were like, hey, what were the most sold games of 2012? And what were the most watched YouTube videos of 2012? And the most watched gaming YouTube videos were for the games that sold the most. Most of that was from a lot of the from developers showing showing tutorials and just trailers on YouTube. And then also like large YouTubers can influence a lot of their viewers, like PewDiePie. He began playing Minecraft last year in 2019. And he got about 500 million views on average per video, which can be partially credited to the resurgence in Minecraft over the last couple of years, which is it definitely helped Minecraft get 100 billion views for the entire year. And tutorials on how to play videos are definitely some of the more watched gaming videos. So, just a quick takeaway, I guess. The YouTube videos of a game do have a direct impact on the sales of said game. Content producers can influence the sale and presence of these games. People are currently and have almost always been very interested in playing together. And the developers' presence, so like the game designers and the game publishers' presence on YouTube, that is directly linked to sales. The better videos that they put out, the more videos they put out, the better their sales tend to be. And the more popular the game is, the more views it generates, like we saw with Fortnite. However, Minecraft had more views than it, and so it actually became more popular throughout the year. And then I've got my sources. But basically, the concept is that you want to design a game that is not only fun to play, but fun to be watched in addition to being played. Because a lot of gamers in 2013, like just the beginning of YouTube, there was 20% of gamers said that they would, if they had a spare moment, they would just turn on YouTube and watch one of the games that they were interested in.
Wow. Cool. Wow, that's a lot of really cool information. Thank you. I had no idea the numbers were that huge, Britt. It's just amazing.
Yeah, no, like, and all of these numbers are actually given by Google and YouTube. And it was like I was like, you know what, this would be kind of a cool topic to talk about. And then actually looking at the numbers, I was just like, what in the world?
Yeah, I know.
500 million is insane for one video.
I know. It is insane. It's insane.
Yeah, and everybody you know on YouTube, the personality you watch, whatnot, they're the content producers. They're going to be, you know, a big boost to whatever game you're releasing.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah, I bet the game companies treat those influencers really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, free keys at least, and
Yeah.
a bunch of other stuff, perks. Like some
No,
of them have direct lines to the developers. This one I was this one I watch, he goes through a lot of indie games. So typically when he says, and this is for the devs, and he like flashes something that's glitching out.
Yeah, so Minecraft in particular, there's a series called Hermitcraft on YouTube that's like 20 different YouTubers all collaborating together and on a single server. But they have Minecraft devs watching them, and so when they make suggestions, Minecraft devs actually take that into account because they are a large presence in the Minecraft community.
Wow.
That's smart. That's really cool.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Britt. Good job. Let's see, Eduardo. Let's see, Britt, if you want to stop your share, then I guess Eduardo can share his screen and show us his presentation.
All right. Okay. Give me a sec here. All right. Everybody can see, right?
I can see it.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to just be talking about games evolution in a sense because we've come a long way for games to be like all high-edge graphics with the best mechanics, and a lot of good consoles have been coming out recently. Like, I think the PlayStation 5 just released a trailer for like how good the gameplay is going to be in Xbox One X, and other PCs are coming out as well, like GeForce. NVIDIA, I think, yeah. So we've been improving ever since then. But basically, how it all started was with a game called Pong. If anybody knows this, you're an OG. Pong was a game that many people played back then. It was basically just a tennis game where you needed to block the dot or get the dot to the other side of your opponent so you can score. It was that simple. And back then, this was like basically what everybody played. And it was very fun. And sometimes I actually go back and just find a browser where they have this, and I always go against my girlfriend. It's kind of funny. But it's not always that boring, honestly. It's kind of fun if you want to just be plain simple. However, this was just the beginning of how games were going to be. Like, nowadays, we have a variety of, like, other things we can play. Like I said before, we have a PlayStation 4, we have an Xbox One X, we have PCs, and we always get, like, YouTube videos, Twitch, even Facebook nowadays. They always live stream that stuff. Like, we always get guides, walkthroughs, just gameplay in general, trailers. And most of it is basically just a good evolution in terms of like how we've come so far. And what got me interested in this is like, okay, so hear me out. I was always interested in this stuff in high school, but I was always interested in video games when I was 10 years old. And my first gory game was Mortal Kombat. Yeah. And the designs for the games, characters, and scenes were always so detailed. And I wanted to know how they, like, basically did it. Like, I know it's not the right mindset for me to be at that age and say, like, yo, I want to know exactly how that guy blows up his head. But that's basically what got me interested, because seeing all the details in games nowadays, like God of War, Halo, Call of Duty, it's just so realistic at this point. I mean, obviously, back then when we first started, it did look realistic, but you know, when time goes on, it gets more and more better. And so, with developments with the mechanics nowadays, I have like, for example, for Resident Evil. So these are both screenshots right here of the same game. However, this obviously, if you guys heard about the remastered's on the right, and obviously the left is the original. Now, the original Resident Evil games used to have like just a camera at a certain angle in the game, and so you would have to just use that angle to aim and shoot at a zombie. And in my opinion, I always died. However, I think it was in 2000. So I know it was in 2010 something, where they introduced Resident Evil 6. And in that game, they offered third-person shooting a lot more better. I mean, they did offer it in Resident Evil 4 and 5, but Resident Evil 6 is where it stood out the most, because it was more, you had a more movemental system. And well, when they remade the remaster for the second game, people were thinking we were going to go back to the OG style, like the camera, but no, because we've gotten so used to how third person is, it's like impossible to go back, you know? And not many people, in my opinion, I don't think people would be interested in like the same type of thing. That's why Resident Evil 1 Remastered didn't get that many views or likes at all, other than just story-wise. What's a good another one? Like Halo, for instance. That game has come a long way back in 2001 when it first released. Like, first of all, if everybody knows, you couldn't run through like Halo 1 through like 3 until you actually made it to Reach, and that's when Bungie let the game go. But that's that's an evolution right there for you, just running. And well, what else? God of War, yeah. God of War is another interesting one. It used to be the same way. Like the camera angle for Resident Evil, it's like similar to how God of War was. You'd just be running around and doing all kinds of things, earning like blood, souls, I guess. I don't know. I forgot what it was called. And they totally changed that when it came to God of War 4, because instead of like with the camera view, they changed it to third person, and the entire game was completely changed into like an RPG type game. So you would actually have to like be like an open world and go and do stuff like side quests. So like Skyrim in a sense. But yeah, like that's what I'm talking about with the mechanics that they change over the years to offer a better experience and stuff like that. And so yeah, that's mainly it right there for me.
Okay. Well, very nice, Eduardo. I appreciate that. Thanks for telling us that story about like, you know, when you were 10 and Mortal Kombat and everything like that, because it's cool to know why people got interested, what inspired them to get into the industry. And of course, you do a lot of artwork nowadays, right?
Yeah, I've been doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. So, and some of that probably got inspired by those early days of video games, right?
Oh yeah, big time.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you so much. Um, okay. So I think what I'm going to do now, I'm going to share my screen again. Go back to the class website here, and just point out a couple things for you guys. There's an article here. This happened in February, but I just thought I'd point it out. Somebody decided to create February as the Snag a Normie month in tabletop gaming, which I thought was a pretty funny concept. So the idea was to take a month where what you do is if you play tabletop games, drag your friends who don't play into your games and have them play in the month of February as a way to get more people to play tabletop games. I think it's a cool idea, and you could apply it to other things too. You could apply it to video games. You could apply it to your specific video games that you like to play if you want to increase the audience and maybe get some of your friends to do it. So that's just kind of an interesting concept there. There's another article here. It talks about a different aspect of gaming, which is what they call exergaming. And what that is, of course, is gaming that involves exercising. And of course, that's, there's a big market for that, dancing and doing things like that. And as the controllers become more sophisticated and you can control things with different body parts, then there's the potential for even more. I mean, you could, do fencing or soccer or whatever and actually be getting exercise while you're playing this, a game. So, this is an interesting article about that type of thing, playing games and exercising at the same time. And then a resource for you guys is this resource here is for playtesting games online. And so what happens is at this website, playtest-coop.com, you can upload your games and have other people playtest them, and then you can playtest other people's games. So it's a way for people to just get input about each other's games as a way to try to improve them and spot flaws and stuff. And this abbreviation here, PNP, print and play. Basically what it is if you design a card game or you design a board game, you basically put all of that on a PDF and you upload it to this site. And what happens is somebody downloads the PDF and prints it all out, cuts it up, and then they've got a version of your game you can play. Now, of course, there's a certain level of trust that's involved with this. You're thinking nobody's going to rip off your game. The idea is just to give each other feedback. But it's kind of a fun concept, and you guys could check it out if you're interested. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to talk about was something called an elevator pitch, and I think we may have talked about this a little bit in the past. Can somebody give me a definition of an elevator pitch? Anybody know?
Just like a quick description of something that you're trying to convince someone to buy or get into that's quick enough to tell them in an elevator.
Right, exactly. So, what's the average elevator ride? Maybe, 10 floors or something like that. Maybe in high rises it's 20 floors. But, the idea is you probably have anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute, maybe a little longer, to sell somebody on your game concept, right? And so that's an elevator pitch. And if you do end up doing things like going to game conventions and you get lucky enough to stand next to somebody in an elevator or get online and talk to somebody, maybe you want to have an elevator pitch ready for your game. Now, I'm going to click this little link here and open this PDF. So I mentioned to you guys a book called Fail Faster that had a bunch of different concepts in it. It's used for playtesting and stuff like that. And I believe, if I remember correctly, I got this from this book. But what they had was they have a little template for creating an elevator pitch for your game. And so this top part of this document is their pitch template, right? And then what I did was I took that pitch template and I dropped in my information for one of my board games, right? So let's check out both. So in the pitch template, it says, in game name, you play as role, in setting, trying to goal by gameplay, right? Game name uses mechanism A and mechanism B, with the most interesting mechanism being your hook. Of course, the hook is whatever makes your game special and unique. For example, by first mechanism A and then mechanism B, you would be able to your hook in order to get your goal, right? So, that's all kind of abstract. We're like, okay, we understand the words goal and hook and stuff like that, but how does it sound in actual paragraph? So here's a paragraph that I put together using that template. So a game called Skyrose. In Skyrose, you command a medieval army stationed on a small island occupied by 1 to 3 opposing armies. Your goal is to defeat your opponents in battle and capture Skyrose Castle, located in the middle of the island. Skyrose is a strategy game similar to chess with an interesting twist. So this is where you introduce the hook, right? Troop movements and battle strength are hidden until players engage in battle, similar to how enemy ships are kept secret in Battleship. So there I'm also making a reference to a game most people know, right? This means your army can advance on the castle without your opponents knowing where or when your strongest pieces will attack. The unpredictable gameplay makes Skyrose fun, exciting, and infinitely replayable. Okay. So, my idea behind sharing this with you was that you guys would take this template and maybe assign somebody on your team to go ahead and drop your information into the pitch template and come up with a little paragraph, kind of like I have here, right? Now, I was going to try and do that during class, but because we had the presentation today, we're not really going to have time. So what I think I'll do is I'll give it to you guys to do outside of class. Have somebody download this PDF, and then just you can copy this paragraph and drop it in a Microsoft Word or whatever, and then just replace all these parenthetical pieces of information with your game information, and then of course clean up the grammar and everything to make it make sense. Now, one of the advantages of having an elevator pitch, even if you're not trying to sell game right now, is it forces you to make decisions and to describe things. Like if somebody said, "What's the hook for your game?" and you're like, "Oh, I don't know. It could be this. It could be that." But when you actually have to write down what the hook is, it forces you to commit to it and to describe it. So an elevator pitch has, one of its huge benefits is condensing your idea down to committed, forcing you to commit to specific ideas, which then become, the bones or the structure of the game. Okay. Any questions about that? You guys kind of know what I'm looking for here?
Yeah, seems simple enough.
Cool. Yep. Cool. All right. Let me close this tab here. Okay. And how are you guys doing on your game? Are you making some progress?
Yeah. Slowly but surely coming along.
Okay.
Because then it's the 23rd that we have to have the prototype ready, which is next Wednesday.
Yeah, like a week from today.
Okay.
You have to have a prototype running in something like Tabletop Simulator, something that we can look at electronically. And like I said, even if that prototype is just a bunch of basically digital versions of handwritten cards or something like that, as long as there's something in there that can be moved and played with, and there's some concept of the rules, then you've accomplished that goal. But we just need something to move us forward to the next deadline. Okay. So, does anybody have anything? We got a few minutes before we check back in with Davis. Does anybody want to share anything that they've created for their games?
I can go ahead and share a template I've been working on.
Okay. All right. Let me stop my share, and you can do yours.
1 sec. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so share. We want to share that one. Oh, yeah, yes, that's fine. Sorry, I got distracted by something else that came up. All right. So this is our template for mission cards. I know. So the idea is we've got the pair of linked stats here. Our missions are going to mechanically operate like these are the requirements you need to pass the mission. We're going to put our card art in roughly this space. And of course, we've got our flavor text and our title up here. This section can also include other things if we want. So, for example, I've been working on some graphics representing types, and I'm not sure how we're going to implement that, but it was part of my original idea is types of victory points so that we could help spread out, people achieving their goals, right? Make it dependent on some deck order sort of thing. So yeah, I was just toying with some of these graphics to represent some different types of cards. The victory point system is going to revolve around these. And I'm pretty sure I'll have something that'll fit. This is just template art, of course. Not the final version, although I did like my work on the gun today. That was kind of neat. So yeah, this file is that card template from GameCrafter. So everything is within the safe zone.
Okay.
So it should work out.
Cool. Now, when you were talking about the victory points, maybe different kinds of victory points for different players. So like, would an example of that be like player A needs 10 of a certain type of victory points and player B only needs 6 of their particular victory points, or do they all need the same amount of victory points to win?
So the way I want to balance it is balance it against rarity. So those numbers obviously we'll have to play with it. But if we're dealing with an even rarity of everything, then of course those numbers would have to be the same. So 10 of one thing and 10 of another thing is perfectly equatable, right? But what happens if you move it to 5 and 5? Well, if the chances are even, then you're fine. But if they're not even, then you might have to adjust some of those numbers.
Okay. So it's all the balancing act. Like you might give one character a stronger abilities, and then as a result, they might have like more victory points that they had to get to win or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah. Well, I like the template, and I like where you're headed with your art and the icons. Any feedback from any of you guys? What do you think?
Yeah, I just like the icons on the side and so that blank space above, like in that gray blank space right there is where you put your art.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I like the fact that there's that artwork behind it, which is like the cityscape.
Yeah, that cool
Yeah. And
cyberpunky
that's all in the
cityscape.
bleed
It's cool.
zone. So I just love the fact that that's going to be there.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
it looks great, and not only that, but it really ties the card to the game. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
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 I mean, some of this art it was really hard to come up with just for template filler art.
Yeah.
So I mean, so having something that was obviously relatable in there it was definitely helpful. We're going to be using a
Yeah.
lot more of that CCO art.
And have you thought about artwork for the back of the cards yet?
I have not. Logan had put up a suggestion in our team chat. I gave him a little bit of feedback on it. Told him we'd address it later, but I didn't hear anything back on my feedback, and it seemed to slide off the table. So what's going to happen is I'm going to remake the cards back, but I don't have any idea right now.
Okay, got it. Okay, well, it looks really good. I think you're heading in a really good direction.
Cool, thanks.
Agreed.
Anybody else have anything they want to share with us? Okay, well, maybe we can check back with Davis. Let's see if he's still on the thing here. Yeah, looks like he's still part of the call. So, Davis, are you there?
Yep, I'm here. Let me turn on screen sharing and all that.
Okay.
I can see my mouse. Okay, yeah, I don't know why it disappears from ZBrush. Okay, let's just share screen and click share, and there we are. Now this is a little bit further than before.
Wow.
Nice.
That is really
This
awesome.
has a lot more personality than before.
Yeah, I like it.
Still
Like that
maybe
hair.
too realistic? What do you think, Greg?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always conflicted, Davis, because I think your realistic art looks so good. I'm just like, oh, it looks so good. I just want to keep it like that. But I think that if you look at the drawing over here, especially the face, he has this really cartoony, sort of welcoming, happy expression. And I wonder if you could try to create something like that, in the facial area.
It's super hard for me to zoom out and go abstract like that. But I will have that done later for you today if you're willing for that.
Yeah, I mean, if you like, you can experiment if you want and try a couple of different things. But I mean, I think in general he looks really great.
So is this for a game piece?
Yeah, so Davis and I talked a while ago, and he made a sample piece for me. He made a female. I don't know if you guys remember, but one of the monkeys is a female named Nira, and he made that for me, and it came out a little too realistic. And what I was looking for was something a little more cartoony. Like I think that this drawing over here is a little cartoony.
Hmm.
And so, of course, he just made this guy, which would be another game piece, which would be, either 3D printed or printed in molded plastic or whatever. And so, what I'm looking for is really sort of cartoony characters.
Mm.
So, and like I said, he does such a good job that when you see this, you're just like, that's perfect. I want to keep it. But then when you think about your original concept, you want to push it more towards the cartoony end of the spectrum.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'd say to go more cartoony, I would have to blur the face a bit and then just kind of sculpt from there again.
Okay.
Let me say what I got because I don't want to lose this realistic sculpt.
Yeah, I would definitely. Yeah, it makes sense to save stuff like that and then do another object.
Brock, draft one. Okay, so blur that and let's see what we can do. So let's make those eyes bigger.
Okay.
How much do you want to see? How much are you looking for, like in terms of time?
Uh, what do you mean? You mean like right now? How much time do we have?
Yeah.
Oh, well, right now the class is going to end in about 7 minutes, so that's your time.
Kind of
You don't have
7
to.
minutes. Say what?
Uh, obviously you don't have to finish the complete sculpture in 7 minutes, but we're going to end the class in 7 minutes.
Gotcha. Sounds good to me. All right. I'm just looking for ways I can get this to be more simple. Because what I had before was like, say for the lips, I had like, realistic, like that kind of thing going on.
Right.
And that kind of thing going on. But instead, I'm just going to go with a line like that.
Yeah, so you're going to kind of go to the opposite end of the spectrum and create something very simple. And then, you could always make it more realistic if it needs to be, right?
Right on. Do you want it to look like, do you want the line work of, say, the eyes you have there? You have sort of like Calvin and Hobbes eyes, which are just beads.
You don't
You
have
want me to, huh?
you don't have to like try to exactly replicate that drawing. I would say what you want is the spirit of a cartoony monkey. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Actually, this sort of looks like him right there.
It's Brock.
I think that was a good move on the mouth though, because yeah, that mouth was too realistic, and to make it a simpler line makes it more cartoony immediately.
Yeah, just a simple line. That's all I needed. It looks like he has a bit of a lip going on, so I'll just sculpt that in too. Bottom lip, I mean.
Yeah, he already looks more cartoony.
Yeah, that's what I'm going for.
Nice.
And let's, if we wanted to go into greater detail, we could do that. Do you like it better with the pupils showing or the irises showing?
Can you undo that?
It's a little bit friendlier actually with
With the eye?
the irises.
Okay.
But I don't know. It depends on what you think. What do you think?
Um, can I see it from the front a little more? And then with the iris,
Oh, wow, that didn't turn out right from the front.
I I personally think it looks more cartoony without the iris.
Sounds good to me. All right, let's call this done. I mean, I forgot the eyebrows. I should probably put in the eyebrows. He's got some eyebrows going on. Like that. There we go.
Nice.
And let's get rid of all this realistic looking anatomy down there. We only need a little bit of the abs. We don't need to go completely all out. Let's get out the polish brush, which is one of my favorites. And what that does is it slowly erodes the detail down.
Cool.
Sort of flattens it. There we go. That already looks better.
Davis, is this a pretty average amount of time that it would take you to make a sculpture like this?
Yes, this is pretty average.
Okay.
I'd say Nero was far more difficult because she had a pose going on, and I also went all out on making her like, you know, shapely, you know, and giving her like proper muscle and all that. And here I just like, you know, just put in the form and he pops out.
Can you, do you have Nira available that you can show these guys?
Yeah, sure. Let's save this tool. Save as Rock Draft 2. Load tool. Let's see, where did I save it? I saved it under Dreamcoat. Models, Nira 3.
Nice.
So this was the first monkey he made, and we kind of wanted her to be a combination between a monkey and Marilyn Monroe. Monkey Monroe. And so as he said, he spent a lot more time on the figure and did a great job. You know, but ultimately, you know, when this was done, as I said, I love his work. He's very talented. But I was like, oh, it's, you know, it's not as cartoony as what I imagined, which is why we're having that conversation about Brock, how to move, you know, moving away from the realism as you know, more towards the cartoony.
Yeah, that was the number one thing. That's polish. There we go.
Think Jessica Rabbit.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
Jessica Monkey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
It looks awesome though.
Yeah, it does look great.
But we're gonna go towards whoops, that's the other one. Draft 2. Open. More simple. It needs a little bit more work. I just realized that. Really got to bring out those creases. By the way, Dreamco is a real cool name.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, Davis, I just wanted to thank you for doing such an excellent job today. What do you guys think? Did he do a good job?
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you did a great job.
Yeah, very inspirational. I mean, it definitely makes me want to do better artwork and learn ZBrush, you know?
Yeah.
I'm glad it inspired. That's all I could hope to achieve.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing that you just created this whole thing just while we're having our class, you know?
Oh yeah. Seriously.
It looks great, really does.
Thanks. All right. Well, if you need more like sculpting in the future, just hit me up.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure I'll talk to you soon, Davis. Thanks again for your lecture and your demo. It was great.
Oh, thank you so much. All right.
Okay, take care. And the rest of you guys have a great weekend. Be sure and put some time into your games this weekend because remember, those are due next Wednesday for the prototype. Okay?
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Have a great weekend, guys, and I'll see you later.
Bye.
Later, guys.
Stay safe.